Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Mattias Danielsson, CEO of Yubico. We're here to discuss trends shaping the cybersecurity solution space and what listing on the Nasdaq First North Growth Market in September 2023 and recently Nasdaq Stockholm means for the company. It's great to have you with us, Mattias. Welcome to Trade Talks. Let's talk about Yubico for a moment here. Founded in Sweden in 2007 with the mission to make secure login easy and available for everyone. Can you elaborate on your business and how it all started?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Good morning. Yeah, as you said, the company was started in Sweden back in 2007, but it only really started taking off in 2011 when we got Google as our first lighthouse customer. Together with Google, we developed a new standard for multi-factor authentication, which today is being promoted by a broad alliance of different tech companies and companies outside of the tech space, really. And we've been driving that standard and also making sure that secure login through strong multi-factor authentication is available to large enterprises, to the public sector, and even to private individuals. So that's how we've been growing the company since.
And you listed on Nasdaq First North Growth Market in September 2023. What have been the highlights for Yubico during its first year as a listed company?
We were one of the few Swedish companies that got listed through a SPAC. Can you believe it? So we've been through all of that process. And during this past year, we've, of course, the majority of focus has been on developing our operations, and we've had a good performance there. And in parallel, we've been preparing to go for the main market, getting our accounting according to IFRS, making sure we have the right governance structures in place, and all that stuff that goes with going for the regulated market.
Yeah, so recently you listed on Nasdaq Stockholm. In what way will this milestone help to support the growth journey?
I'd say there are two things to it. One is, of course, that it's to some extent a quality stamp that we adhere to the requirements that are present for the main market when it comes to how we deal with information, how we document things, and the overall governance structure. The thing that I'd highlight the most is perhaps moving from, because we're an entrepreneurial company at heart, and making sure that we're less dependent on individuals and that we have more planning for the unexpected when it comes to risks and how we address those issues. So there's more transparency, which provides a little bit of quality stamp. And what goes with that is, of course, access to some extent, a new set of investors that require that main market listing to be able to invest in the company. So that opens up new opportunities for us as a company. Even though we're profitable and cash flow positive, it's always good to have that access to capital if and when needed.
And Mattias, as a prominent cybersecurity firm specializing in hardware authentication security keys, can you elaborate on the current trends shaping this sector and what the company is doing to navigate them and provide solutions?
Short term, a lot of people are talking about AI and how that augments the threat, really, because the phishing attacks are so much more sophisticated on a massive scale when you're using AI. And then it's really good to have that hardware-rooted trust so that people don't need to be able to tell what is real and what is not real, but that they can actually rely on good hardware security to protect their logins. Longer term, of course, we need to stay ahead of the curve. Few years down the road, I think people are thinking about what does post-quantum computing mean? How can we make sure that the encryption that we're using today is resilient to those types of attacks? So overall, we see a lot of new threats emerging, but also some very well-known threats that are being launched on much more massive scales. And we'd like to think that we're a part of the solution in helping companies address that problem.
All right, Mattias, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, too.